Hi and welcome. My name is Johnny Fergan. I'm a personal coach and this is Eve.
Hi.
Thank you very much for joining us. What we want to talk to you today is about few simple rules for women to be more successful men and get that kind of man you really want. Now most of you ladies know that sometimes you may be still thinking about that guy that never rang you back or didn't respond to your texts. Or even worse, you said to yourself, at least if I knew where I went wrong, at least I would know what to rectify. What we are going to do today is preempting most of those issues so you won't even make the mistake in the first place. Now sometimes you can do everything right and still the guy is not into you. And no matter what I say or anybody else for this matter, it won't help. But what if he's into you? Let's see how you and what you can do as ladies to make yourself more attractive, more social, more interesting, more desirable, more than anything, being successful at the end of that, getting what you as a woman want. Now these are a few things that you need to do first. Get rid of negative friends and toxic people around you that bring you down, discourage you and tell you there's no men out there, all men are bastards or bad or whatever. These men are toxic. Until you don't get rid of them, even if you meet the right person for you, they will constantly tell you that he or whoever it may be is not good for you. Don't say to yourself, a close friend, there's no one out there for me. You are putting yourself in a negative vibe. You only have to meet one person out of thousands. In order to attract a good man, the most important thing first is to like yourself. And if you don't, sooner or later you'll show as you may latch onto him. Look at the mirror and say to yourself, I love myself. I am beautiful and I'm a desirable woman. I cover some of these exercises in another video that I call Mental and Mind Strength. Please check it out. Put yourself out there. Go out. Join functions, dance groups, speed dating, single events. The more the better. You may not like all of them, but you only need to meet one man. By going out to these things, you will expand your social circle. It's advisable to stay sober, as most of us look really bad when they're drunk. And I'm vouch for that I really looked bad years ago. When you're out, don't focus on who's out there. Just enjoy yourself. Be feminine, dress feminine, be a lady and smile. As you dress feminine, you become more attractive. But love yourself first. Now, the confident man will approach you because that's the one you want. The loser will not because he's too nervous. Now, when on a date, be careful of bad breath or poor hygiene. You'd be surprised how many women neglect that.
Also, when you're on a date, watch out for certain things like not being in a good mood or not being fun. Avoid talking about ex-husbands or ex-boyfriends, marriage or divorce, or wanting children desperately. Even if you really want a baby in the man's head, that shows you're looking for a husband or for a father. You do not want to scare him off on the first date. And any of these topics do come up, just say, it didn't work out. He made mistakes, I made mistakes, we both moved on. The less you talk about the past, the better. Don't tell him on the first date everything about you. If you do, then you won't have anything to talk about when you get the next date. Don't play too hard to get. Most men, they may give up. Be careful about not being thankful or appreciative, not listening or hijacking the conversation. Definitely don't boss the man around or be too demanding or expecting too much, especially at the beginning. Don't badmouth people either while you're talking. It shows that you're negative. Also, be careful about constant complaining in the early stages. It's critical that you avoid complaining about anything. You just don't want to be branded as a whinger. At the beginning, don't tell a man that your expectations are such and such. It shows that you can be high maintenance. Don't be tense or uncomfortable. Whilst on a date, it's advisable you turn off your mobile phone and pay attention to your date. Not only is it rude talking on the mobile phone, but you might not get another chance for another date. If you do need your phone, just make sure that the call is brief and to the point. So avoid having an interview style date with yes or no answers. Just have a very easy conversational.
And contribute to the conversation.
Yeah. Be careful about being indecisive about what you want, and don't talk too much about yourself or your accomplishments in the early stages. This may sometimes come across as intimidating. Be careful about not being genuinely interested in him. Show your interest in whatever he says. his job, his hobbies. Let him talk about himself. Avoid personal questions too. If he doesn't answer certain questions, just leave it. Don't push it. You don't want to come across as being snoopy. It's also not advisable to invite him to your place after the first date if you want him to respect you. But if you do invite him, just make sure that you have proper protection. You just don't know sometimes how the night will unfold.
Exactly.
If you really can't stand the man on your first date, give it about 20 to 30 minutes. Apologize and say, I'm really sorry, I have to go. And don't be rude. Arrive on time. Make sure you have enough money. You don't know your date yet, and you don't want to have any unpleasant surprises. It's better to be safe than sorry. Smile. Always smile. A smile can change a negative situation into a positive, and an embarrassing situation into a laugh. We all look better when we smile. And it makes you more approachable. Be in a good mood. Be positive. Try lowering your expectations or any preconceived ideas as well.
Be fun. Have fun. Even like you've made a little misunderstanding there. Be fun. Have fun. Release yourself from the outcome. And say, I'm going to have fun no matter what. If you're out there and you see a man you're interested, enter his space. And from time to time, make eye contact and smile. You can't expect us men to do everything. You have to make some sort of a move or some flirtatious initiative. However, do not come on too strong. You basically are going to run the show. Say hello, but don't ever buy a man a drink. We men need to chase. It's in our nature. So don't take that away from us. No matter how desperate you are, be a lady and be feminine. Whilst on a date, if you like a man, touch him slowly and gently on his arm, on his hand, as you talk to each other. Dress well, feel well, and dress appropriately for wherever you're going. Be polite, have manners, be thankful. Remember, first impressions do count. Use the man's name. Everybody loves their name. It makes the conversation more intimate. Get into a great feeling zone before you're going out. Play some great music, or imagine great things to yourself, great things happening to yourself. Talk about the beach. A beautiful thing like the beach travel or good experience you had in the past or places you traveled to. When on a date, look into his eyes and hold eye contact for around 70%. And think to yourself, what a gorgeous man. Don't say it, but think of it. Think it. And this will be transmitted to him subconsciously, and that will give him feelings. Remember to thank him for wherever he takes you, for the meal or the show. Tell him that you had a great time, especially if you want to see him again. We all want to be appreciated, so thank the man for his effort, no matter how big or small they are. Visualize they are meeting a great man. Yes, again and again. Make sure you see it in your mind and how he looks like, how he walks and he talks. And this visualization will become reality if you really believe it. When on a date, laugh at his jokes. Let him feel good about himself. We all like to feel good about ourselves. Let him ring you and ask you out again. In most men's heads, if you ring them in the early stages of any relationship, it shows a little desperation. It's okay to SMS him 1 or 2 days later to thank him for the show or the meal or maybe, but not more than that. If you meet a man that is drunk, a gambler, a womanizer, I personally think it's not good to go into the fixing mode, because 6 months later or 8 months later you are regretted as these men never recover. And a few ladies that know me know exactly what I'm talking about. Look and listen to his words that the man says. Does he keep his words or does he flake you? If he does not keep his words, you really, really deserve better. Now here are 3 things that will show you if the man you meet is a man or a boy. A man knows what he wants. He goes for it. A boy has somehow an idea, but not really. He doesn't think too much about it, and even if he does, he doesn't exert so much effort to get it. A boy is passive, a real man is assertive. A man plans for his future and working forward to building a foundation and infrastructure in order to have a family at some point of his life. A boy lives in the moment, and plans are mostly around which bar he's going to hit on the weekend. A man has integrity. He means what he says and says what he means. He will follow through and his actions on his promises. And if he can't do something, he has the guts to tell you why he can't do it. A boy makes promises but usually never follows through. A man is not afraid of rejection. He puts himself out there anyway. A boy is afraid of rejection and acts passive so that his pride and ego won't ever get hurt. A real man knows how to have a great time, be social, but is often making strides, as I mentioned earlier, to make his career succeed. And he's building his life for the future. A boy is getting drunk with his buddies at a bar every weekend. A real man knows when to have fun, when to laugh, and when to be serious. A boy is always playing and he's never serious. Now, most of us sometimes feel uncomfortable or nervous on a date. In order to avoid feeling nervous, exercise a little bit before your date. Play some great music, like I mentioned earlier, and repeat yourself in front of the mirror. I call this getting into state. I am sexy, I am beautiful, and I know you want me. As much as this may sound corny, it'll help your self-esteem and build your confidence, ladies, inside. I have comprised here the 4 S's of dating. For all you ladies to remember out there, I call this the 4 S's of dating. Never date a stingy man. Never date a selfish man. Always look for a man that's got sense of humor. And always make sure that man you're dating is stable emotionally. Because if a man is not stingy, and a man is not selfish, and he's got sense of humor, and he is stable emotionally, he's very, very, very sexy. Remember, if you don't like yourself, no one. But at the same time, but don't be too much. Have a balance. Ladies, that's more or less the do's and don'ts of dating for women. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions whatsoever, please do not hesitate to contact me. I'm Johnny Fergan. You can find me on YONI_IFER, GeorgeAN@hotmail.com. I want to thank all the people that helped me put this together, especially my assistant Sarah Eve, Adriana, Jack, and others that asked not to be mentioned. Before I will conclude, when you're out there, have a great time. Live in the presence. Breathe. Have a great time in the presence. And smile. And great things will happen to you. I want to thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to me. I'm your friend, Johnny Fergan. Bye-bye.